bringing in another weekend. It's Shack Together. Today we're joined by Bill Lavoy, everyone's favorite managing editor. Bill comes equipped with Call of the Wild, The Angler, Fallout 4, and of course Dragon's Dogma 2 impressions. We're happy to have him. Today's first segment is called Codenames, where I test the historical knowledge of the crew and see if they indeed know our beloved console's original internal codenames. Spoiler, Bill knocks this one out of the park, really kills it. Finally, our story time is a hefty one, covering Apple's antitrust suit, the newly released Princess Peach Showtime review, the Rise of the Ronin review, the announcement of Marvel 1943 Rise of the Hydra, Reddit's absurd share price, Remedy's attempt at establishing a better cadence for their releases, Ubisoft's generative AI pursuits, kill me, a Neuralink patient's successful Civ 6 playthrough, a brand new mode coming to Destiny 2, and so much more. Thank you so much for listening, tuning in. I hope you're subscribed, and if you don't mind, please leave a review. Without further ado, thank you. Enjoy the show.
I don't know. Do you have any more awards to give out to people who haven't played video games? I mean, what the hell was last week? That was ridiculous. I really had to. I sat back and I thought about what happened, and I was like, okay. So at the beginning of the show, I got shit for saying that the Mario movie was snubbed at the Oscars, and John was like, I don't care about a movie announcement. Show me more games. The same guy hasn't played Tears of the Kingdom or beaten Breath of the Wild, and he's asking for new games. And then we give him an award. You're the big winner. Congratulations on buying games and not playing them, and then complaining when the creator of your favorite games announces a huge project. Like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Didn't you win, though? Didn't you get the most awards? No, I mean, you got the most awards, I thought.
I didn't. I wasn't even playing. There was no game. It was just
I think you won, and you should be reflecting on your victory as opposed to frustrated.
No, I'm just taken back by how someone can, in one segment, can say, I need new game, and then in the next segment, list 5 AAA 10 out of 10 games that they haven't played yet, and then they win an award. What are we doing?
Listen, I can't. Yeah, no, that's good.
You're listening to Shack Together, a Shacknews video game podcast where if you're a listener, you should leave a review on your podcatcher of choice. I'm your host, Asif Khan, and I'm not joined by my co-host, John Benjamin, today, but I am joined by our producer, Joe Stasio.
Hi.
It's Bill Lavoy.
How you doing?
Hey, Bill. Welcome back, I should say, to the Shacknews extended podcast universe, or the CPU, as the kids are calling it. They're still calling it that, right, Joe?
I'm checking the ticker, and that is still the vernacular.
So I don't know how long it's been, Bill, but I think we've done a podcast together. It feels like we did.
It was 2018. It was June, and it was in Los Angeles in your
E3.
Your HQ. Yeah.
So
E3.
It was our we call it the war room at E3. E3 was this convention for the kids listening at home. It was a convention held in Los Angeles. It doesn't happen anymore. But in 2018, we did the Shacknews World Championship right next to Sega and Nintendo's booth. And I convinced Bill to let me fly him from Canada to America to witness it. So yeah, that wrap-up podcast was probably the last time we recorded together. That was almost 6 years ago. Jeez.
I believe it was the first and last. I don't think I was ever on a podcast with you prior to that. I really don't.
Yeah, you guys, you were doing your push to talk thing at one point, and I think I either was on that or I listened to it a lot.
You may have been our exclusive listener. That's possible.
So I definitely listened to that podcast, and then obviously there was like Joe was doing the Cartridge Family thing, and I was doing the Shackcast thing, and yeah. But anyway, 6 years too long. But we're glad to have you here for this episode 7. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How about that?
Lucky number 7.
So many episodes, so many discussions, so many quality arguments about who has the best backlog. But let's not talk about backlogs. I'm curious, Bill. What have you been playing?
Well, I have been playing, as always, as you know, I have been playing a lot of open world, like exploration, hunting, fishing, camping style games, but specifically, I've been on a kick with Call of the Wild, the Angler lately. And I go through this every few months where I'll play it for like 2 or 3 months and then take a month off and then come back to it and play it for 2 or 3 months. But my evenings have been spent fishing, largely for the most part.
And this is like one of the most impressive fishing games I think to ever ship. Like the level of detail, how much they research they did for, where fish spawn, the time of day that fish spawn. It's just a very is it fair to call it like a more sim like game?
Actually, no. They've started marketing it as a casual fishing game because it does fall a little more on the arcadey side. So
Okay.
There's other fishing games that do the actual fishing mechanics in terms of like lures, reeling, and technique. I think a little bit more.
Those are like proper simulator titles, though.
Yes, but they're not open world. That's the difference.
Got it.
For the most part. I mean, there might be one, but I've really never enjoyed those games. I've tried a few of them, and I bounced off them like within half an hour. So this was just more my jam because it gives me something to, you can drive around, you can go wherever you want, you can, climb up on that random rock and then try fishing off of it or whatever. So,
and this is the same devs as The Hunter, right?
Yes, which I've played for quite a long time as well. But I really haven't played it that much since the Angler, because the Angler is a lot more my pace.
Yeah,
I'd rather fish than hunt, to be honest. So
that's true in almost every video game for me. I saw someone on social media tweet that not every game needs to have a fishing mini game. I'm like, yeah, it does. How dare you?
Yeah.
Also,
I
they're
would agree
all
with
optional. Every one of them is optional. So, like, just don't play it, dude.
Except in Twilight Princess, at the very beginning, you have to fish. It's annoying.
Well, that's in line with a few episodes ago when we deemed it a terrible game.
A very bad video game. And it was like the death of fishing in Zelda games too. It was so bad that they haven't even thought about bringing back fishing. Now you just jump in a pond and grab a fish with the A button.
Oh, that is pretty good.
I mean, it would be nice. Like they have that one village. Sorry, we're already derailing, but like they have that one village on the southeast side where you have to rebuild it, and then there's like this game thing. Like one of the games in there could have been a fishing game. I don't know. Anyway, I like fishing games, Bill, and I haven't been playing the Angler much, but I watch a lot of your gameplay, and it's just chill. It is a very chill game.
Yeah, it's actually it's a pretty good way to multitask, right? Because if you do some float fishing, you can throw your line in the water and you can leave it there, and I don't know, you can catch a game of Marvel Snap or browse TikTok or whatever the kids do, I have legitimately been reclined in my gaming chair and fallen asleep and been woken up to the sound of a strike and actually still managed to catch the fish. So
it's pretty good. That sounds like a great night.
It's a sign of a good video game where you like it so much that you fall asleep while playing it.
Falling asleep for good reasons, though, not bad reasons, right?
Not because you're bored, because you stayed up so late that you fell asleep. That's a sign of a good video game. So, what else you've been playing?
I recently, as in last night, started playing Dragon's Dogma 2, and I'm not very far into it. I'm maybe on my second quest, I think. So I think this is kind of well documented at this point, but it has an absolutely bonkers character creator. And I spent 2.7 hours playing Dragon's Dogma last night, and I would bet you an hour and 45 minutes of that was character creator.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's so I've seen footage of it. I've seen what people are creating with it. What do you think, someone who messes around with character creators and other games, what makes it stand out compared to these other games?
It's the level of detail. When you're choosing the color of your facial hair or even your body hair, your eyebrows, whatever, there's 200 options, right?
Okay.
And that's 200 options, but then it's hard to explain because you're choosing the tip color of your hair, the root color of your hair, and there's like 200 options for the tip. There's 200 options for the root. There's 200 options for, and that's for everything. Like that's like your eyebrows, that's your mustache, that's your body hair. Tattoos can be moved anywhere on your body. They can be expanded to like, stretch around your arm, or they can be pulled horizontally and vertically to make them taller, shorter, whatever it might be. I think the other side of that is just the eyes in the characters are really realistic, and that's just something that you appreciate, like when you get into like a cinematic, when you see NPCs or characters that have realistic eyes. I think it just really adds to that immersion level for players. So the eyes are really great. Of course, in typical fashion, I made the biggest character that I could possibly make, right? Like just
big as in
giant.
like very tall, but it's like also fat.
All with maximum muscle in every possible way.
Can you like,
yeah.
Are there like sliders for the size of a character's butt or anything? Like, can you have like a giant dump truck? Okay.
Yep,
that's cool.
You can. And that extends to other parts of the body as well. So
nice.
Wow. Okay.
It doesn't have like and the one thing I'll say is like a lot of people freaked out over Cyberpunk's character creator because it had
a
like
dong.
Yeah, like you could like adjust genitalia. Like it doesn't. You can't do that here. Like you can adjust like certain things, like butt. You can adjust breasts, but you can't adjust like you don't see nudity. I don't know if the game has nudity or not. I'm not far enough into it, but
give the Steam modders a week.
Yeah, a week,
a day.
Yeah, like tonight.
Give them till noon on Saturday. You'll have
8:01 p.m.
You will have a dong slider ready to go. No, that sounds cool, and it offers a bunch of different skin tones from what I saw too, which I think is always helpful.
I believe hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah, like as a brown guy who's kind of fair these days, like I'm not necessarily, like I'm not black. So when I'm sitting there making a character in a game, and those are really the only two options, that's always frustrating. And then. But yeah, having different tones of skin, having different hairstyles that work with stuff, that's always appreciated. It seems like I'm worried about this one because I spend more time in these character creators than I do in some of these games because I end up not liking them. In the case of Baldur's Gate 3, that kind of happened to me. But yeah, I am interested in trying this one out. Gameplay wise, how do you feel about it?
The only thing, and I maybe I just haven't figured out how to do it yet, but like I'm somebody who, when I'm in combat, I want to focus on a specific enemy. Like, how like you could like click an analog stick and it'll like snap to an enemy, and then, no matter what, like your focus will remain on them. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, or if it's even possible. So that's kind of annoying me about the combat thus far. But they have a pawn system where you create a sidekick essentially, and that sidekick will do things like tell you like, hey, there's a chest over there, we should check it out, or hey, check out that ladder, we should go up that ladder. Or if they have knowledge about your quest, they will help you like, with that kind of thing. So sidekicks are actually very useful in combat as well. So I created a warrior, so I'm always in close with a shield and a sword bashing away at things, and my sidekick is an archer, so shooting things from a distance and helping me out. And I've really enjoyed that dynamic. And I haven't gotten too far into the combat. I've only been in like maybe 5 to 7 like skirmishes, but so far not bad. I just have a feeling about this game, and I've told you this, Asif, like beforehand, before I knew I was coming on the Shackcast.
Not Shackcast, Shack Together.
Whoa! Oh my goodness!
Hey. I had to screw it up once.
It's okay.
Shack Together. And as soon as I did it, I knew it too, but I was just going to keep going.
That's why I mentioned the Shacknews extended podcast universe, because there's been a lot of Shacknews podcasts, and
yes,
Shackcast was one of them. I used to host it. But yeah, so this is not Shackcast.
Is the spiritual successor to Shackcast then?
Yes.
No, this is like if we somehow
or no.
No, it's like it's the Jetsons meets the Flintstones of Shacknews podcast. I don't know if you've seen. Have you guys seen that? I think it was a special.
Yeah, 25 years ago. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that is what Shack Together is, Bill.
I've also never messed that up until I was like on this podcast speaking, and like had to like try to keep my thoughts moving and didn't have time to brain it. and was just like, say the thing that's natural, and it was but like I still haven't, I've messed it up the one time, and it was like live on Shack Together. So.
Issuing Bill 1 demerit. Here we go.
Oh no.
Oh no.
How will that affect his ranking of his backlog? Sorry.
I listened to that. That was some stuff for sure.
Look, I'm gonna let it go because I have to. We're on to the next one.
I stand by the segment. I stand by it.
No, I loved the segment. I think the segment's great. I think gamifying it is bizarre. So yeah, Bill, anything else you want to say about Dragon's Dogma 2? Like you're saying you got a good feeling about it. It seems like it's going to be one of the biggest RPGs of the year.
I think that 2 days from now, you're both going to be blown away at how this takes storm. Like, if I was thinking this last night, we need to find a coalition of game journalists across big gaming sites, and we all come together in like a secret Discord and agree that we're going to go to like DEF CON 5 or something. And when we do that, we send out an automated email to everyone in PR that says, don't send us anything for 2 weeks because it's pointless. And I think we're hitting that right now. Like, Dragon's Dogma is about to avalanche the gaming universe. And
I just think it's really impressive how you think there could be solidarity among games journalists.
Look, man,
across different
dreams.
outlets.
I didn't say they were realistic dreams.
This is like the We Are the World of games journalism is what you're.
Yeah, can't wait for can't wait to be in there with. I won't name names, but can't wait to be in there. You know.
Yeah, Bob
chatting
Dylan
with my colleagues.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Have you seen that special? There's a Netflix documentary on it. It's excellent.
That was such a good watch. Yeah.
And like I know Michael Jackson, lots of things to talk about there, but
sure.
Watching how he handled himself there was impressive. I thought a lot of egos had to be put aside for that. But yeah. So what Bill's suggesting, I'm just saying it is like as hard to do as getting a bunch of celebrities to a studio after an award show. Yeah.
Oh, it'll never happen. I'm just saying that if you're PR, you probably like whatever you're sending me in the next week. Like there's really not much point.
It was just tough this week though, because like it's literally 3 games: Rise of Ronin, Princess Peach Showtime, and Dragon's Dogma 2 all had review embargoes lift this week. So it's just even like what you're saying. Like that's true, but every outlet had to review all those games. So it's very
There's so much overlap with Dragon's Dogma and Ronin in what audience they're chasing too. That's like, I would think they would have tried to avoid that. Yeah,
for Rise of Ronin. Yeah, sure. I mean, for Rise of Ronin, that's probably bad. Right. I kind of equate this to like, I remember like I didn't know anything about The Witcher when I started. Like The Witcher 3 came out, I knew nothing. Never played the games before. Didn't know anything about the universe. Nothing. And that game was like, it blew my mind. And I get the same sort of feeling like just the stories I've heard from gameplay and some of the emerging gameplay that's coming out of Dragon's Dogma 2. I think we're going to see like something similar, maybe. I could see that.
Nice. And then your last game that you mentioned, at least on our rundown here, is that you've been playing Fallout 4 again?
Yeah, I promised I never would, but...
You promised me, Bill.
Did I promise you?
No, that would have been funny, though.
It would have been fun. I wouldn't have lost sleep over breaking it, but it would have been funny. No, I when Starfield came out, I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna play Fallout 4 again. Like, I'm just gonna. This will be the new thing. Like, this will be my Fallout 4 game, until the next one. And then it's just, Fallout 4 just has so much more personality than Starfield ever ended up having, and I couldn't help it. I was like, you know what? I need that fix, and I went back and played it. No regrets. There's not a lot to say about it. It's like 9 years old, but it's definitely one of my favorite open world games. So it's kind of in my pick it up here and there for an hour when I don't feel like fishing.
What's the hour count on Fallout 4?
Give me 1 second. Let me check for you live.
The audience loves stats like this. This is a common question here.
This is only PC, keeping in mind I played it on PS4, I want to say, before this. Whatever PlayStation was prominent in 2015. That's one I played it on. 864.4 hours on Steam.
That's really high. Okay.
I probably have 5 games above that hour count.
Wild.
So that's actually not that high for me. But it's it is high, but it's not that high for me.
Yeah, like knowing you, Bill, I'm not surprised by that number at all.
No, you wouldn't have been surprised if I said 1,000 for sure. But I've probably got 5 games over 1,000 hours too. So
yeah, I think what is that? There's that survival game. Sorry, I'm blanking right now.
The Long Dark.
The Long Dark. That's the game that you have like
the Long
2,000
Dark
hours.
is 1,160.9 hours.
Yeah. So just knowing the kind of person you are when it comes to games, like it doesn't surprise me to hear that you played 800 hours of Fallout 4. Seems reasonable.
Destiny 2, 2,370.4 hours, and that's just since it came to Steam. So that doesn't include before it was even like Destiny 1 at all. That doesn't include the Battle.net days. So that's just Steam. So it's probably closer to like 4,000 hours.
Yikes.
Insane.
Everyone's shocked. They're just like, I don't know where to go from here.
I'm just I feel bad because I know that you work for Shacknews, and a large part of what you do for Shacknews is having to cover Destiny 2. So sorry.
Sorry to go off on the side, but I was talking to my Destiny 2 fire team. Shout out to Jan and Dusty. And I was like, I think I'm going to start playing Destiny 2 again. And they're both like, why? And I was like, well, I kind of get paid to. So that's a driving factor. And they're like, yeah, fair enough.
They're like, you know what? You're right. That's a good reason. That's cool, man. That's a good mix of games you got going on there. Joe, how goes Final Fantasy VII Rebirth?
I'm not going to get into it. I said I wouldn't last week, and then I kind of did. This week, I mean it. I'm not going to get into it. It's grown on me a little bit.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What chapter are you in?
I just started 8.
Okay, so you're progressing.
Maybe halfway?
I don't know. It's like however long you make it, right? You can just sit in the gold saucer for the next 800 hours.
That's where I'm headed. But I've done literally everything so far.
Have you played the Star Fox minigame?
I haven't gotten to gold saucer, so no.
Okay. So yeah, that's to me. That's all I care about.
If that's all you care about, you may need to invest 25-ish hours to get there.
No, I don't want to. I just want to play Star Fox. Maybe I'll just play Star Fox on my Switch. Like, I don't know. I have an N64 controller and Switch Online. I can play it there.
Nice.
Joe, I'm actually curious. What kind of a gamer are you? Like, when you get into a big open world, are you like the do everything, or are you like, give me the quest, finish the main quest, I'm out of here?
Short answer would be if the game has open world on the box, I'm probably not playing it. That's the deal. Except
the Zelda games.
Yeah, because those are not traditionally open world. They're a new genre that Nintendo invented that resemble open worlds and are like textbook open worlds, but they're not like AAA gaming open worlds. You know what I mean?
You're talking about Assassin's Creed games, or like you talking about Far Cry, or like what are you talking about?
I'm talking about there are 2 Zelda games that are quote unquote open world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's everything else.
Do you consider Red Dead to be part of the everything else?
I do. I think it's a better execution, but it is. Okay. Yeah, it's just more traditional dots on a map kind of thing. It's a better one.
For Red Dead 2 is pretty impressive.
I fondly remember Red Dead 2, saw it to completion, which I just told Bill a few days ago. He was surprised.
Shocked.
It's a spectrum of quality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it's typically something I avoid because I just don't like the time sink of it. It's not for me. I don't like that.
So have you played Death Stranding?
Yeah, and what a great example of like finally something different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the horror bits,
sure,
because I'm a wuss. But otherwise, yeah, I think I put like 30 hours into that. I had a good time with it.
Didn't beat it though.
I didn't beat it, not out of lack of interest. I got stuck in Colorado.
Mm-hmm. The snow.
I got stuck in the snow.
Yeah,
and I kept getting attacked, and I didn't know how to.
It's very frustrating when you get. It's like you have these vehicles; they create problems. Like I love that game. We talked about it last week. I have a love-hate relationship with it, but I do think it is one of the weirder open world-y kind of games. Like it's not completely open world either, right? So there's that's interesting.
Yeah, but it feels open world.
Sure.
So like, yeah. But but I think that is a great one. I think, that one earns its what would you say? Like it's so long in the tooth, but in a way that it earns.
Mhm. Yeah. I think it's like comedy at times. Just the
Sure.
it's like, congratulations, here's a vehicle. Oh, there's a bunch of rocks here. Good luck. You're gonna fall over 50 times. You could just walk. Just walk. This is my advice to everyone in that game. Just walk. Unless you have to use a vehicle, just walk.
Unless
it's
you
easier.
have to. Yeah.
It's easier to climb. There's gonna be a mountain in your way. Yeah. Awesome.
Asif, what have you been playing?
So yeah, I added I'm gonna start with the weirdest one on this list, and then we'll go from there. I fired up Super Mario Maker for Wii U because there is an ongoing effort by the Mario Maker community to defeat every level before servers go offline. So Nintendo has announced that they're gonna stop hosting Mario Maker on Nintendo Online or whatever it was called back then. So we, as a community, we have until March 31st to beat every level in Mario Maker. The community has it down to literally one level, and I just wanted to see the level, kind of. It's hard as hell, and God, I'm trying to remember what this account is called. It's like Mario Maker 0% or 0% Mario Maker. But yeah, I wanted to see the map myself, and do you guys know what Kaizo is? No,
maybe I've heard you say that before. It's
it's a style of Mario level design born out of Super and SNES Super Mario World ROM hacks. It involves a lot of shell dropping, wall jumping, stuff like that, like hacks. Right. So this is a level made by a Kaizo player, but instead of shell jumping, it's you're juggling like the bombs, and you have to like juggle the bomb, throw it into a flower, catch it, drop it, like spin jump onto another flower, drop the bomb, catch it. It's maybe a 15-second long level, but the best players in the world have not been able to beat it yet. So I just wanted to look at it, and I downloaded it and I looked at it, but I have no Kaizo skills at all. Some of the best Kaizo players on Earth are like Carl Sagan or Grand Pooh Bear, some of the more popular streamers. You've probably seen them at like Games Done Quick and stuff. They're not even trying, because the thing is, Mario Maker's super old, right? We're talking about a Wii U game. And a lot of people don't have functioning Wii U's anymore, or they sold it or whatever. So it's been fun to watch the streams and watch the community get together to try to take out this last level before the servers shut down. I'm sure Nintendo hates that there's a Kaizo level that's the last one, because they don't like Kaizo in general, because it's like exploits to them.
Okay.
So I've seen some people claim that, oh, this was a hack, the person didn't actually complete it. That's not possible. They definitely completed the level. There are no dev doors or anything in this either, where they could have taken like the easy way. So yeah, it's just a hard level. It's a guy, they found the guy who made it, and he's since like moved on from gaming and content creation entirely. He's like, I don't want to talk about this at all. And I can kind of feel that as someone who's, to upload a level in Mario Maker, you have to beat it. And if this is truly one of the hardest levels ever made, he probably has some negative memories about it, That's why, like, when I upload a level, it's like dead to me. I'm like so over it by the time it's up there. But yeah.
I mean, especially if the way it works is you have to beat it to upload. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you're making it, it's easier than for the community, but it's probably not a given that you get through it, even if you made it.
Yeah, and like, I was watching this Grand Pooh Bear video, and he was like, yeah, this guy was the best at juggling bombs in the world when he made this. And now he just is out of practice and isn't even doing it. So a lot of people they're like having to learn the bomb juggle, right? And It's been cool to watch, because I'm seeing creators like literally build levels so they can train different parts of this level. So it's been cool to see and you can't upload those, but they're just, you know how you can like play through the drafts of your levels in the game.
Right.
So there's people creating like gyms or practice gyms for this level. People who have downloaded it and they're labbing like one specific part. But yeah, it's as someone who loves the Mario Maker franchise, it's cool to see this happening. I was like, man, I was like, do I have any levels that haven't been beaten? The answer is no. Someone has beaten at least one person has beaten every single one of my levels. And then after this deadline passes, they are going to move to Super Mario Maker 2. So this is a pretty cool project that is just born out of the community. And I think it's pretty neat.
Awesome.
So I fired up Mario Maker to check out that level. I think it's called like trimming the trees or something dumb like that. Anyway, this is a call to action for anyone listening to this. If you have a Wii U and Super Mario Maker and you're a capable Mario player, do it for Shacknews and get out there and try to clear this level because it's hard. We need everyone working on this. And I would help, but I am not good at Kaizo at all. I learned how to shell jump because Grand Pooh Bear uploaded it's maybe the best tutorial for Kaizo ever. He uploaded it to Mario Maker 2 where you could just, here's how to shell jump, here's how to do this thing, here's how to do that. And yeah, so I've tried in the past to get good at that stuff, but yeah, that's like speedrunner level, and I'm just not there.
Yeah.
So yeah, other game I'm playing, Pocket Card Jockey Ride On. I went back to it. Balatro, it like had me in its grasp for like 2 weeks. I haven't played it since I beat it.
Oh, okay.
I think it was like I really wanted to beat that game. I focused on beating that game. It's not that I dislike it. Like I told John, go buy it because I think it's like the perfect game for like an airplane ride and stuff like that. But you know, I haven't beaten Pocket Card Jockey yet, so I went back to that and promptly got my horse sent to the farm again. So Nintendo Horse 64 is now at the farm, which led me to Nintendo Horse Cube. Was the next name for my horse.
Nice.
So stay tuned. Probably got another horse coming here. Yeah, that game's fun. It's hard. I don't know if there's a win condition or what exactly winning is, but the further you progress, the longer it is till your horse gets sent to the farm. So the furthest I've progressed so far, my horse was like 5 years old when they got sent to the farm, and they start at age 2, and like each year is like a season basically. So yeah, not done with that game yet. It's kind of just during the day, if I have a little bit of time to play something, I'll play it. And then yeah, this may surprise you guys.
Wait.
I've been playing F-Zero 99.
No.
Yep. And
Okay.
I was real close. Man, I was close. I finished 3rd overall on Big Blue about 2 nights ago. I was racing extremely well all night. Every race I had like a top 10, top 5 finish. And it was Big Blue. I got the Skyway on the last lap. And it dropped me like 0.3 seconds behind first place. So there was someone in between me and that person too. So it was I was 3rd place, 0.3 seconds off of the time. And like I said, it was Big Blue. So I'm getting closer. I'm definitely getting better at every track. Obviously practice makes perfect in racing games. But yeah, tough loss this weekend, this week. But yeah, keep playing it. And then I have to do this, right? My rivals of the week.
Yeah,
this is pretty funny. I actually went up against someone with the name Hassan, Hassan. And for the folks at home, that's my brother's name. So I was like, I defeated my brother at F-Zero 99. So that was pretty great. Kicked his ass. I also
Was it actually him?
No,
Oh,
it was
okay.
someone else. I've tried to get him to play it, but no, he has not played F-Zero 99 yet. He couldn't get past the tutorial. It's very hard. That game's not easy, and my brother's visually impaired, so I don't think it's the fairest thing to try to throw him into a 99-person battle royale racing game is not really that fair. But no, it wasn't him, but I still got a chuckle out of it, and I'm sure he'll find this funny. Yeah, he is he's the king of Cortex right now, right? Like he's been winning Cortex for most of the days, most of the weeks, most of the months. He won it last year. So shout out to Haas. I think what's his name on I think it's Mamu123 on the chatty. And then another rival who I did defeat was Spacebox, like their name. And then also Hans Worst. Hans Worst, I beat him by like a millisecond on a race. I just thought that was pretty fun. The community's still there, still playing. I got a couple of random they're called like the secret tracks. I'm starting to remember the secret tracks and getting better at them. It's great. Love that game. Gonna keep playing it until they take it away from me. But man, I'm close.
Okay.
I know. I'm really gonna surprise you guys, but yeah, I'm gonna keep playing F-099. Go on a limb. Keep playing it. I love it. It's a great game. It was my game of the year last year. I'm gonna keep playing it. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. I guess we should. We got a game coming up.
Yes.
A game within a podcast about games.
Yeah, it's a what's the term? Ouroboros?
Like the Tears of the Kingdom logo.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do it. You guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. You ready, Bill?
I'm as ready as I'm gonna be. Yeah.
Hell yeah!
All right, cue that freaking music. Today we're going to play Codenames. And you might be asking, what the heck is Codenames? I've heard of Codenames, a board game that you play with partner up to 4, 6, or 8 people. No, that's not what this is. That would have been clever of me, but that's not what we're doing. Codenames is a game where I tell you the code name for a console, over the past, say, 40 years, and you buzz in with your name. You say, Asif. Mm-hmm. And then you have a chance to tell me what that actual title is for said console.
Bill, you say Bill.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was going to say Asif. I'm not,
I just want to make it very clear.
I'm going to be very bad at this game. So
I have a feeling I might mop the floor with Bill here. But
yeah, I think I'd like to congratulate you on your victory ahead of starting the game.
We'll see.
You are a journalist, Bill, by trade. And so I bet you've soaked up more than you think. Because I know I accidentally knew some of these.
I bet you I haven't.
Yeah, all right.
Joe's also very good at researching this stuff, so I'm sure he has some curveballs for us.
I also, I'd like to point out, Joe, that you don't get to play multiple games for more than 1,000 hours because you spend time looking up code names for consoles. So my time is precious and it is spoken for, but I am ready to lose. Let's go.
Fair enough. Here we go. Let's see how many we get to. There's quite a few. We don't have to do the whole list, but maybe we will. First up, Citra. Codename is Citra.
Asif.
Okay.
Nintendo 3DS.
Correct. That was news to me. I didn't know that was the codename. I thought it was just the emulator. Rest in peace.
The emulator. Yeah.
Here we go. Durango.
Asif.
Go ahead.
I want to say this is Xbox.
Oh, I think you're going to get this.
Xbox One?
Correct. That is correct. Wow.
I was debating not even interjecting at any point and just like not making a sound through this entire segment just to like drive home the point that this game is not for me.
Well, man. I built this game before I knew our guest, but that said, I wouldn't have said, "Oh, I better not do this for Bill. He won't know this." I don't know.
I don't mind. No.
Next up, this one's funny. Codename Colleen.
Codename Colleen.
I should just start buzzing in and saying random consoles.
You should. Yeah, you're bound. You're bound
really
to get
should.
One.
All right, I'm gonna Bill.
Yep.
PlayStation 1.
Incorrect.
Yeah. Well, we know that.
I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
Asif. Colleen. Atari Jaguar.
Oh wow. Close. Atari 800.
Close?
Yeah.
Oh God. That was before I was born.
Same. Next up. Project Natal.
Oh, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a console. This is Kinect for Xbox.
Correct.
That's one that I've heard, but I still wouldn't have gotten the answer correct.
That's one they should have kept because it sounds better than Kinect.
Yeah, that's fair. The code name is better than the name.
Microsoft's really good at that.
There's a couple on this list I feel that way about. Next up, Orbis.
Asif.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox 360.
Incorrect. That was the PlayStation 4. And what I find very silly is that there is no debate about what the next PlayStation should be called. So why are there code names?
Because they want to talk about it internally without leaking it.
Yeah, that way if an email gets picked off,
Yeah.
they're
It's
not
like they're
caught
talking
saying
about
like
Orbis,
PS6.
yeah, they're not talking about PlayStation. They're talking about Orbis.
What I was going to do, Joe, is I was going to buzz in and just say PlayStation 1 for everything. And eventually you should just give me the PlayStation 1 question. And then I'll lose like 11-1 or something.
Yeah.
Okay. We could try that. Next up, Mark V.
Bill,
Okay.
PlayStation 1.
Incorrect.
I knew you were. I knew it. I knew you were going to do that.
Mark V? Asif.
Yes.
Sega Saturn?
Jeez. It's Genesis.
Damn.
Well, like, does that sound Sega-y to you? Like, how did you even get close? Okay.
I'm very old, and I am quite obsessed with Codenames. So I just this is my wheelhouse. You've literally you've created a category that was like built for me. But my own synapses from the 90s are failing to fire. So I was like, it was either Saturn or Genesis. But yeah, I remember Mark V.
NGP, the next generation portable.
Asif.
Yep.
That's got to be Sony PSP.
Very.
Bill, if you want to get
it's not going to matter. I mean, I know it's portable. I have no clue. I tell you, I do not know a single code name of any console.
Play the game, Bill. Play the game.
You know it's not PSP.
Right.
Play the game.
Just saying.
I'm not giving you like subtext.
At any portable.
I'm just going to continue to say PS1. That's it.
But that's not a portable.
I understand that, but I don't know, man.
Is there another PlayStation?
Vita?
Point goes to Bill. Wow,
there it
he's
is.
on the board.
That's not even a fair point because I already guessed wrong once.
Yeah, the minute I said PSP, I knew it was Vita, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah,
okay, good answer.
But I was drawing a blank on Vita because I don't know, it's Vita, but
yeah, it's Vita.
It took me a minute. I knew there was another Sony portable, but I was drawing a blank for a minute.
Yeah.
Next up is Pam.
Pam?
Like the cooking spray, or like my mother-in-law, Pamela.
Yeah.
Bill.
Okay.
Xbox 360?
No, this one is subject to context clues for astute listeners.
Asif.
Mm-hmm.
Is this PlayStation 1?
No, this joins the pantheon of, I guess, old school female names. Not the Atari 800 this time, but the 5200.
Oh yeah. If it's Atari, I'm not going to get any of them.
Yeah, but I think he's just trying to let us know that when he comes up with code names that are women's names, it's probably Atari.
That's fair.
That's what I was trying to say. Next up is Jupiter.
Bill.
Yeah.
PlayStation 1.
Incorrect.
Joe, you got to help me out at some point, man.
Jupiter.
I'm now guessing wrong against my better judgment just to get a PlayStation 1 correct at some point.
Jupiter, I'm going to guess. Asif.
Yep.
Jupiter.
If he gets it wrong, let me guess for no points.
I'll let you guess for real points.
Jupiter. Is it Dreamcast?
Incorrect. Bill?
Damn.
I really want to say this is from Xbox, but I don't recall which Xbox.
3, 2,
Xbox
1.
Series X again. Let's say X.
Incorrect. Sega Saturn.
Oh, man.
What was it?
Sega
Saturn.
Damn. Hey, yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Next up, PSX.
Awesome. PlayStation 2.
Yes. Incorrect. Bill, hazard a guess?
Bill, PlayStation 1.
That is correct.
That's
Good
it.
for you, Bill.
End the game.
At a time when no code names were really necessary because there was no brand to speak of.
Yeah.
PSX was indeed, what stuck around.
I thought that was just what people called it, like abbreviating it.
Yeah, but where did they get that?
I don't know.
Yeah. Here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Nitro.
I've heard this one too.
Awesome.
Yes.
Is it the original Xbox?
No. Xbox has been guessed so much.
Yeah, I'm going to assume everything is done.
Yeah, it's a reason though, because
Bill,
sometimes I hear a
don't you
name.
dare say PlayStation 1.
What? Sorry.
Yeah, you can't
I
guess
said-
PlayStation 1 again,
No,
Bill.
I know. I'm just saying that I think the reason we're guessing Xbox so much is that when we hear a name that we think that's kind of dumb, we just
Right.
go to Xbox.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair.
because I know the Nintendo ones. I'm not asking them. It's driving me nuts. So it's like between PlayStation, Xbox, and Atari, and then Sega.
Okay.
I'm sitting here with a wealth of knowledge about Nintendo code names.
Okay. All right. 3,
What is this one?
2. Asif, hubris strikes again. Nintendo DS.
Nitro.
No points.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Fair
I was
enough.
talking about consoles, though. Nintendo consoles. Sorry, go ahead.
Come on. Next up, we have Project Cafe.
Project Cafe. That again, man, that just sounds like something that Microsoft would fart out.
It does, doesn't it?
It really does. Like, I just want to be like, Bill, Xbox Series X.
I don't even want to. Wait, he already guessed. He
Yeah,
guessed
go ahead.
Xbox Series X.
I'm gonna get it wrong, but I'm gonna go Xbox.
Yeah, that's super wrong.
That's definitely wrong. Project Cafe.
That's like the most famous code name of all time. This series.
What?
Oh no, the 1X is the famous one.
Yeah. Project Cafe.
3, 2, 1.
Asif. PlayStation 3.
This is the Nintendo Wii U.
Oh, that had a code name?
Yeah, they all do.
Wow. Project Cafe. I should have known because it was Project. That they do that.
Here's a well-known one. Here we go. Neo.
That's very recent. I feel like that's very recent. Although I'm not going to get it right because I could go one of two ways. So I'm going to
Asif.
leave it open to Asif.
PS4.
Incorrect.
What? It was PS5.
I know it was recent.
I thought it was all Neo and Morpheus. Neo and
Bill.
Morpheus.
Go ahead, Bill.
I'm going to say PS5.
This one is the PS4 Pro model.
God. I knew it because it was the whole Neo and Morpheus. Morpheus was PSVR. Neo. Okay, fine.
Hey, at least
You're-
I didn't say Xbox. Like, I've given that up.
Next up is Scorpio.
Asif.
Yes.
Scorpio is the Xbox One X.
That is correct.
So
Very nice.
I definitely knew that one as well. I'm just bad at putting like the
it's
specifics down
because
on them. Yeah.
Xbox naming systems are stupid. So it's like Xbox Series X, Xbox One X, Xbox One S. It's just too many stupid names.
The way that I play this game is I go, wait, I have been a game journalist for like a decade. I have heard that word in relation to games. It is one of the newer consoles, but I have no clue which one.
Mm-hmm.
My brain just does not retain that information.
That said, Bill, you have 2 points to Asif's 4. It is not a runaway yet.
It's not over.
I mean, I got one of those points by guessing PS1 6 times.
Look, process elimination, man. It's a strat.
Next up, Atlantis.
Oh, damn.
Asif.
Yes.
Atlantis. Is it the original Xbox?
It's the Game Boy Advance.
What? Okay. I told you, I'm not good at handhelds. I don't even know that.
I wonder if David Craddock had the name of the original Xbox, the code name, in his long read.
I bet he does, and I'm just
I bet he does.
blanking on it.
That's what I was thinking of. Is like, have I read this in a David Craddock long read? That's what I was trying to do.
Next up, there were many code names for this console, ranging across a variety of internal documents. So it didn't just have one name, but it had these names: Mars, Verve, TAC, which stood for Total Action Center, and CPG, Cyber Playground. The last codename I will not say because it would give it away.
Asif, Dreamcast.
Incorrect.
I'm just going to guess Dreamcast.
Couldn't even begin to guess.
That can't be a Nintendo.
I'm going to say before my time for sure.
It can't be
Like-
Nintendo.
3, 2,
I already answered. I can't. Bill?
Xbox, original Xbox
Oh.
is the
Oh
is
my
the
God
God.
damn it.
and
Of course.
the final codename, which is very interesting, is that it was internally known as the Direct Xbox, which of course speaks to the software layer that the console leveraged that comes from PC Town. So there you go. There's the origins of that name. I never knew that.
Impressive.
Let's see. Let's give Bill a chance. Let's do 3 more. Bill, if you can get 3 right.
Comeback starts here, Bill.
Yep.
This is you're patronizing me. Continue.
I'm not intending to. I'm trying to get an upset. This is March Madness. This is what people are talking about when they say March
This is
Madness.
the 5-12 matchup.
Right, but you're trying to get an upset during March Madness, and I don't have a basketball.
Yeah, Bill showed
It's
up
not
in
true.
hockey.
You have
there's
2
no,
points.
There's no basketball, Joe. Like,
He's
you
wearing
have-
skates.
Yeah. Like if you wanted to talk fish species or something like that, like maybe, but yeah, like this is, yeah, no.
I don't know. I've played a lot of Animal Crossing. I might have you there.
I don't know.
This
you
console
know a lot of fish.
has 6 code names, and they are as follows: White Belt, Katana, Guppy. Bill, you might know it because it's Guppy. Black Belt, Shark, Bill, and Dural. Is that also a fish?
I don't know. Probably somewhere.
Asif Xbox One S.
No.
I just wanted to get it out of the way.
Yeah, someone had to.
I have no clue, but Bill, PlayStation 3.
Incorrect. That is the Dreamcast. Oh, the Dreamcast.
I should have just.
I thought we had done Dreamcast already.
No,
Maybe
we
we
hadn't.
guessed Dreamcast.
Wait, what were those again? The list.
White Belt, Katana, Guppy, Black Belt, Shark, and
I remember
Dural.
Katana. I should have got. Yeah, my bad. I apologize to Dreamcast. Happy 25th this fall, by the way. Dreamcast will be eligible for Shacknews Hall of Fame induction on
Sick.
September 9th. Did you have a Dreamcast, Joe?
No, always wanted one. Never had one.
They're really something special.
I had one stolen off my porch in college,
Mm.
actually, that I bought. You know, it was way past its time.
Why was it on the porch?
Like it got delivered by, I don't know, eBay or
Oh,
something.
okay. I was like, this is not the place to keep that. But all right, that's fair.
Yeah, that's
Not
where
a
I kept
porch.
my television, Bill.
Yeah, it's a different
I
time.
mean, it's college, so like I had a couch on the lawn. So I mean, things happen.
Sure. Yeah, fair. Okay, here we go. Project Reality.
Asif.
Yes,
Nintendo 64.
correct. Next
I
up,
love that.
that is a good one. Dolphin.
Asif.
Yes,
Nintendo GameCube.
correct. Next up, Virtual Utopia Experience.
That sounds really dumb.
It does.
It does, yeah.
Asif.
Yeah.
3DO.
Incorrect.
Just threw out the 3DO just to see.
Bill, come on, this one's a layup.
It's not a layup. There's no layups. I don't have a ball, Joe. We discussed this.
He's playing hockey.
Yeah.
Bill, this one's a power play.
The one-timer coming in hot.
It's not, that doesn't help me.
3, 2. Okay,
Nope.
The Virtual Utopia Experience poetically refers to Nintendo's Virtual Boy.
I had a feeling, but
Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that if you had given me like 3 more hints. No. I was being very serious when I said this is like the one game on the earth that I will be bad at.
you're not that bad. You scored points.
You scored points. Here's our final question. And this one is again for astute listeners and players. Listen to your hearts on this one. Final question. Xenon with an X.
Asif.
Yes.
Xbox 360.
Correct. The most Mountain Dew Dorito blasted name of all time. Xenon. That is correct.
I had a feeling Xbox, but I didn't know which one.
That brings our final tally to Asif. 7 points. Bill,
Hell yeah.
2. Making our Code Games champion, Asif Khan. Congratulations.
Hey, how about that? I had a feeling.
This concludes our inaugural episode of Code Games. Also, probably the last one, because I don't know how we would ever play that again. But
You could. You'd have to be with a different, maybe like, yeah, you did hit a lot of consoles there, but you left out, I don't know, maybe my favorite one. Can I
There's
mention
probably
it?
a lot of games that have code names too.
Yeah, that too. But can I mention my favorite code name for a console?
you may.
And you guys can guess it. Revolution.
Oh, yeah, it's the Wii.
The Wii. I thought that was a great code name.
Yeah,
Revolution.
it is
Yeah. Nintendo had some bangers. Project Reality, I thought was awesome. Obviously Dolphin. Some of these emulators really like the code names too. So, and then
good.
there's
Yeah,
NX.
I didn't know that was the practice. Yeah, and then where did Yuzu come from? That broke convention. Maybe that's why Nintendo got upset, because they broke that pattern.
Did you see that someone recompiled it, uploaded it, and called it Suyu instead of Yusu?
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Until Nintendo shows up.
Thanks for playing. We're going to be right back, and Asif will take us to Storyville in Storytime.
Thanks for putting together that game, Joe. I know the research involved is a lot. Just once again, it feels good to win in convincing fashion. But
Victory speech.
We'll be right back with Storytime. Stay tuned. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. Boy, there's a lot of stories here. So I'm going to try to hit the quickies extra quick.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, please.
First quickie. Apple faces antitrust suit from the U.S. Department of Justice over an alleged smartphone monopoly. That is very interesting because for so long, Apple has kind of gotten by with making something around 80% of the profits on smartphones globally, but still being considered not a monopoly because I don't think they have over 50% market share of smartphones. It's just that they make a lot of the money that people make on smartphones. So this goes back to Epic Games versus Apple kind of scenario. Epic at their keynote at GDC announced that they're bringing Epic Game Store to iOS and Google Android or whatever. We still don't know how they're going to do that in the United States. There's obviously different laws in Europe now surrounding the App Store, but this is just like that. You know how like on this show, one of us may be more of an Apple is doomed person than the other. This is just another example of Apple not being the Apple that they were. And this is the Apple that they are now. They're the second largest company on earth. They should see regulatory scrutiny like this. So I'm happy that this is happening. And I hope that Apple can do some things that are less anti-competitive. And maybe that involves opening up their whole platform to other store options or a more robust web store experience. But they're doing a lot of stuff that is anti-competitive, and I'm glad that the government's actually doing something about it.
Yeah. Amen.
Next up, we have a couple of reviews. Princess Peach Showtime! ! We have reviewed that over here at Shacknews. Ozzy Mejia reviewed the game. Gave it a 7 out of 10. It's kind of short from my understanding. It's not a very deep game. But you have a lot of different characters that you can play as. I said this before, but it reminds me of Kirby and the Forgotten Land in a way where, like there's different power-ups for different levels and stuff. So you can be like Ninja Peach, or you could be Ice Skate or Figure Skating Peach or Dashing Thief Peach. And like, they're all pretty cool. It has this 2.5D style. So it's kind of like Yoshi's Woolly World or something when it comes to the gameplay. But it's got like a nice diverse array of gameplay. It's not that deep of a game though. The art style is really impressive. I think this is an Unreal Engine game, which is pretty neat to see Nintendo making one of those. Some of the positives Ozzy mentioned were, a unique setting, charming aesthetic. It's a fun story that gives Peach more of a distinct identity, which is cool. Like, I think after the Mario movie, Peach is honestly a better character than Mario in that movie, so it makes sense to like have her get her own show, let her do her own thing. Transformations are enjoyable without a dud in the bunch, so that's cool. I have to say, just watching the gameplay, the animation is really cool. And then the sneaky good soundtrack. The cons were occasional performance issues. Total time with specific transformations is disappointingly short. I think that's just kind of in general, the game is short. He said options are almost non-existent and the boss fights feel unmemorable. So not the greatest review, not a terrible game either, though. Got a 7 out of 10 at Shacknews. So that's the Princess.
I grabbed this one on I had a voucher, one of those digital vouchers.
Sure.
So I thought, I don't know, maybe my daughter would appreciate it, which is, a maybe.
Yeah, she's very.
But I'm gonna try it.
Like, is she capable of playing video games yet?
playing. I don't know. She's going to be 5 in October, so she's young.
Yeah.
But it's not out of the question.
It's also something like you guys could get on the couch and play together.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dream.
Yeah, someday. I don't let that dream die with Princess Peach Showtime. But no, that's cool, man. And I think like it's not a game for everyone, but it does seem like if you're a younger player, it may be a pretty accessible game. So that's cool.
Right.
Happy to see Peach with her own headline game. Because like I said, I thought that character was very well written in the movie, and I'm interested to hear more about her. So yeah. I don't know if I'm buying it at launch though. I'm probably going to hold off. Kind of back to that topic last week of having too many games to play. We also reviewed Rise of the Ronin here at Shacknews. TJ Denzer talked about last episode with us a little bit. Some of the pros, he said this is the best character customization from Team Ninja. Wide variety of weapons, gadgets, combat styles. Combat feels challenging but satisfying. Beautiful open world to explore. We know how much you love those, Joe.
Thank you.
Lots of choices that influence characters and narrative. Side quests and collectibles are plentiful without being tedious. NPC and player co-op help alleviate difficulty. Oddly placed, some of the cons are oddly placed invisible walls in the open world. I hate that. Hate that. Understand why it exists. Hate it. Put a barn there or something. You know what I mean? Just put like a wall, put a cliff, put a river. Just anything but just an invisible wall. I can handle more. Even some rocks. You know what I mean? Just anything. But I understand.
Yeah, give us some rocks.
You know what I'm saying? Just like any kind of there's solutions out there to this problem. But it is a problem in a lot of open world games, and it does break immersion, and it goes back to Tears of the Kingdom would let me do this. So
right.
Yeah. No option to mix languages between Western and Eastern characters. And then the last con was that there's huge difficulty spikes in the boss battles. So yeah, that's the Rise of the Ronin. That's out this week also. Another quickie here. Yesterday, Epic held their State of Unreal keynote without their glorious leader, Tim Sweeney, in attendance. He was in Australia fighting for Epic Game Store's rights to exist on iOS and Android. So he was not there for the keynote. But Amy Hennig was. And she's working with Skydance Entertainment now on a new project called Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. And this takes place in like World War II era Marvel. So it's World War II Captain America and World War II era Black Panther that were shown in the trailer. They showed off, it was like a 12-minute segment where they talked about the nanite particle effects that they're using from UE5. And then also later on, Amy showed another version of the trailer where they removed the mask from Black Panther so you could actually see Kyrie Payton's face. And that was demonstrating the metahuman technology that they're using for face mapping. So Unreal Engine 5 is really impressive stuff. And we're starting to see games really take advantage of that. We don't know. I think they said 2025, right, for this game?
Yeah, that'll be next year. But I agree. Like, it looked phenomenal. So I'm very excited for this one. And I don't get excited for Marvel stuff.
Except for Snap. You used to like that game.
Yeah, but not because of anything Marvel related, just because it's like crack cocaine.
Yeah. I don't know if crack cocaine's a good thing. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say it's probably not. So maybe that
neither is my
Marvel
addiction to Marvel Snap.
That's fair. I got off of that train before a lot of you guys. I don't know. Maybe it's because I played Hearthstone before. So I was like, I know they're different games. Anyway, the Marvel 1943 game. Have you had a chance to look at this, Joe? It looks pretty awesome.
No, but I am a sucker for a UE5 demo.
Yeah.
So I want to see it.
I recommend just going on the YouTube, typing in Marvel 1943, skipping the IGN link, and like actually clicking on the original source. But yeah, it's cool. It looks cool. We're looking forward to it. I am happy to see Amy Hennig is like actually getting to make a game that crosses the finish line, hopefully, because some of her projects at EA were kind of stymied by terrible management and other stuff.
Is there anybody calling out that when Amy's on a project, the title of that project includes like a year.
Oh, like The Order or whatever.
There was no, I don't think she was involved in that. It was a canceled Star Wars game, wasn't it? Is that what I'm imagining?
They had a number or a year in it?
It did. I thought so.
Let's see. I'm trying to see. I guess it wouldn't be on her IMDb because it never came out, right?
Yeah, hang on, I'll find it. I'm the producer here. I got it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, yeah, it was some cool stuff being shown off at GDC by Unreal. They spent some time talking about UEFN, also the Unreal Engine in Fortnite, and just showing off what you can do with that stuff. Pretty impressive stuff going on over there. And they're, I know that they're a company that's trying to make money, but they certainly are offering developers some pretty favorable pay arrangements if you choose their store. It's like 100% of the first $500,000 you make on their store, you don't pay them at all. So someone who has an app that is going to need to find a way to list it in Europe, I'm looking at Epic Game Store because I think it'd be cool to put Shack Pets on Epic Game Store.
Okay, quick update. I was wrong. I was thinking of Star Wars 1313, but that was a different director.
Okay.
And Amy's team absorbed that director. That's why I associated them.
Yeah. It's understandable, man. Trying to keep track of EA's mistakes is very difficult.
Project Ragtag was Amy's project that got canned.
Yeah.
No year.
Sucks. Okay. Well, anyway, 1943. That's the year. And it comes out in 2025. On to the next quickie, because these are quick. These are quick stories. Reddit. Reddit has their IPO as of today. We got to see the first day of trading for Reddit. The stock is up. It's actually down on the day now. It opened at 47 a share. The IPO was priced at 34. So you were instantly making $13 a share if you bought into the IPO. It went as high as 57.80 a share. This is all in the first 15 minutes of trading today, and it's currently trading for 49.74. So big range of trading today. At one point, you were up $23 a share on the stock, and now you're only up about 12. But hey, you're still up on the first day, so that's usually a good feeling. I don't think Reddit is worth $6 billion. I don't. We got a little bit, when a company goes public, they provide a little bit of information about what they're doing. So you're talking about a company that had overall revenues in 2023 of $804 million, and they lost $990 million on that. So they're not a profitable company. Another thing I thought was interesting is they only have about 73. I know this is a lot in absolute numbers, but for social media, it's kind of small. They only have 73 million daily active users on the platform. That's smaller than Snapchat and Twitter. And those are considered guppies compared to, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So you're paying a lot for not a whole lot. And then there's also just the fact that Reddit is one of the havens of copyright infringement on the internet. So I'm not sure if Reddit's valuation will prove to be smart, but you're talking about a company that in a private round of financing was valued at $10 billion just a few years ago. So this is quite the fall from grace for them. They were valued at $10 billion in let me see when that was. 2021. So in like a 2.5 year period, they've lost 40% of their valuation. So that's never a good feeling. And the other thing I point out is I just think they're being opportunistic about the timing of the IPO. The S&P 500 hit an all-time high yesterday. We're obviously in like a gold rush for AI related things. So I think this is just a favorable time to list a stock on the market. I was offered shares as a moderator and I did not buy them. So I guess I'm an idiot because I could have made some money today, but I don't know. I'm not a believer in their business model, and I don't like how they operate. I don't like what they've done with how they treat the API on their site and the effects that's had on user created apps. Like I believe it was called Apollo for browsing Reddit. That was like a really, really solid app for Android. And Reddit did the same thing that Elon Musk did with Twitter, where he was charging people for using the API. And that's crappy. I hate that that's becoming a thing. So yeah, Reddit is now a publicly traded stock. The symbol is RDDT. Just a reminder that nothing I've said is financial advice. You should consider your own risk tolerance when making stupid investments. On to the next quickie. Remedy wants to establish a regular cadence for sequels of the Control and Alan Wake series. They don't want to get too out of hand with how they release these games. And, Control's an excellent game. Alan Wake 2 is an excellent video game. So they're planning, to just make their games great, right? Not rush them and actually plan so that they don't have to lay off people. It just seemed pretty solid, everything that they're working on over there. So I was happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And our last quickie. I'll make this extra quick because it's a Ubisoft story. Ubisoft reveals generative AI project for NPC dialogue. We're seeing a lot of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are seeing a lot of that. Did I just play that? Speakers? No. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Definitely hearing a lot of boos for generative AI being used for anything. There was a presentation at South by Southwest last week or this week where a company mentioned that they're using generative AI and they got booed very loudly. So yeah, that's continuing to happen. Ubisoft, they're like the masters of chasing trends. Almost too late every time.
Yeah. And Square Enix also, they do that.
They release a battle royale when no one wants a battle royale. They release a pirate game when nobody wants a pirate game. And yeah, now they're shoving. You remember the whole NFT nonsense? They were experimenting with that, and then they canned that. So now here's AI for NPCs, having a real conversation with NPCs.
Ubisoft's attempt to remain relevant into whatever the current trend is. They have made themselves the least interesting game developing company on the planet.
And just something I noticed earlier this week, their stock is at a very, very low level. We're talking lowest level it's been in 5 years. The last time it was trading this low was 2015. So they have given back like a decade
which means layoffs and delays, because they not in here to create something great. They are in here to maintain profit margins.
So yeah, you're talking about a company that was, valued at, I don't know, with probably around 15 billion. And now it's down to, no. That would be, we're talking euros here. Yeah, probably about 15 billion. And now it's trading for somewhere around $2.4 billion. They're not doing well. And these kinds of moves they're kind of why they're in this situation to begin with, isn't it? Like they keep chasing trends, they're late to trends, and they cancel these things, and then it's just a bunch of sunk costs for nothing, right? So I'm not sure. Nothing that Ubisoft is doing from a management standpoint gives me any confidence in the company. But there are competent devs still working over there. We saw like the Division 2 just celebrated an anniversary, and a ton of people I think it was like a record amount of people were playing it this weekend. So like they're not all bad over there, but this is a terrible idea and they should feel bad.
It's stuff like this that is going to push me out of this industry faster than anything, to be honest with you, because I'm going to get to a point where I don't know if what I'm playing or how much of what I'm playing is using generative AI.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that. Like anytime I have to question the integrity of what it is that I'm consuming, I just would rather not consume it than take the chance. So like this is an example of that. Like I won't want to play an Ubisoft game again where I have to talk to an NPC because I'm going to be like, what kind of nonsense is behind this? And I just don't want any part of it. So I would be like, I'm just not going to play that.
If you take the ethics out of it for a second, because, that's what they want is to meet them at sort of the utility level of the conversation. Fair. Okay. I am better as a consumer than this. I am worth more than to read robotic text. And I don't mean that me, I mean the royal me, that if I'm going to spend $60 on an Ubisoft game, I want it to be authored by the world's best talent. And I'm sure a rebuttal to that will be like, oh, these are going to be like the least seen parts of the game. I don't know if that's true. I hope that's true. But I think the point stands. This is clearly an announcement for shareholders who are going to say, my dollar is going to go further in this stock because they're going to save some money on the dev side. Reading it as a consumer, there's really no good angle.
But it's also trend chasing, Joe. It's not just, bottom line. It's like, in Ubisoft's in getting in the AI space. The Ubisoft has a headline that says generative AI. So the random jaboofer on the street who's only investing in AI right now is going to be like, well, that means Ubisoft's the AI play. Screw Nintendo. Nintendo hasn't said anything about AI, but Ubisoft, that's the one, right? These people who were telling us that NFTs were the future a few years ago, they're saying that about AI. So to those people, this is a great headline, to your point.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Joe, because in at least their AAA offerings lately, Ubisoft is incapable of creating an interesting NPC with human beings doing the writing. So it's not going to improve now.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse because it's going to get much, much worse. And I, in 2024, seek more human interaction and more authentic interaction, like the whole touch grass movement kind of deal. Not less. So this is like this whole generative AI thing is very, very uncomfortable for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you're alone. I think
we all,
I think that really is that is a wave of how our generation is feeling.
Yeah. I think, especially our industry, people who write, people who create, people who are artists or designers, video production people, all of us are under attack right now, but from like a lot of different angles. And I think the decision makers, like the heads of Ubisoft that decided to push this, I personally think they're chasing trends. They're not really thinking for the long term. You go look at Nintendo and what they're doing. They bought land next to their headquarters and built a building on it, and now they're hiring to put humans in it to make more video games. So to your point about the whole industry doing this, I don't think that's happening. I think it's the scared, already declining part of the industry is doing this, and they're grasping for anything. But the ones that are in a position of power right now, the ones that are doing well, they're not doing this because they don't have to yet. Maybe down the road they will. But yeah, we should move on. That short story was turning into a bit of a longie. It was turning a little bit longie.
Oopsie.
Whoops. Anyway, these are both trademarked by Joe. So storytime longies. These are some longer stories. And this first one, I don't know if we need to spend too much time on. I just thought it was super cool. Neuralink patient. His name is Nolan Arbaugh. I don't know if he's the first human patient, but he is the first Neuralink patient that we've gotten to hear from on the internet. They did a live stream on Periscope on Twitter, the finest 2015 live streaming technology out there. And it was kind of like an interview between an engineer at Neuralink and this 29-year-old quadriplegic man who can't use his arms or his legs, right? They implanted a chip in his brain that lets him control his mouse and other parts of the computer with his mind. And they showed a demo of him playing chess with it. But there was a funny part in the interview where he said the first time they let him just do whatever he wanted with it, he ended up playing Civ 6 all night with his telepathic brain computer interface. And I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's sick.
He wasn't able to play it. He was using you know how they have like mouth sticks for controlling things if you're paralyzed. Mm-hmm. He said that Civ 6 was one of those games that he couldn't really use existing human interface devices for it because it was just a lot of time and effort. This is like, it's made it effortless, and he had a great time. I'm just excited to hear there's some good news here. I think Neuralink, it's an Elon Musk company, but they're doing some really cool things. a lot of people try to default to being skeptical of anything Elon Musk is doing. I don't blame them. But I think this could be hugely transformative for people with disabilities. And Elon actually tweeted yesterday that telepathy is one of the things they're working on. Blind sight is the next thing. They're trying to give people who are congenitally blind, people born blind, or people who are unable to see, they're trying to restore vision to those people. That's amazing.
That's cool.
So I'm cheering for these people. I'm cheering for the engineers. I'm cheering for this patient. I hope he continues to do well, and I hope he gets to do more new exciting things that he wasn't able to before. But yeah, I'm a fan of what's going on at Neuralink. I'm not going to be the first one to ask for that to be put in my brain, but if you are in a scenario where you can't use your limbs, this seems like a pretty sweet option now. Now there's the whole issue with firmware and software updates down the road, and the whole you're getting a brain implant. So there's a lot going on here. But he seemed rather happy about it, and I just think it's funny and kind of awesome that his first night with it, he was just going hard into Civ 6. And Bill, I know you love Civ, so you could probably relate.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's actually really cool, and I agree with you. It's cool to be able to. I don't like the person that runs a lot of these companies, but there are certain things that certain companies that Elon Musk has and projects that he's sort of kicked off that. Well, I don't like the guy at all. They are quite. They're pushing technology and things forward in a very good way. So.
Yeah, like 3 examples. When I see a rocket land, I'm impressed. So when SpaceX lands rockets and they explain how reusable rockets are actually saving money and less wasteful, and I think that's cool. Just personally, I save money every time I drive an electric car. It's not about saving the world or whatever. I save money driving an electric car. I don't contribute to oil and gas industry anymore, at least directly. And then, I think Neuralink could be huge for people with disabilities. And I have people in my family with disabilities, and I think it's amazing that we are on the edge of a cybernetic future, right? We're getting closer to this. We're going to be able to solve actual healthcare problems with technology. And so many things in technology are solutions in search of a problem, whereas this is clearly a product and a platform that was built looking at the problems first. And I think that's just cool to see. But
yeah, well said. That's a good point. Yep.
Love it. So yeah, kudos to Neuralink on the success. I hope Nolan continues to play video games, figures out some other stuff. I was wondering, do you think he's better now at video games than he's ever been? Because there's no input lag. I wonder how good he is. But yeah. Congratulations on getting to play Civ 6 till 6 in the morning. Everyone who's played Civ can relate. This thing is great. So that was the first longie. It was a good longie. Felt good.
A happy good one. A rare, happy games industry longie.
Rare. I got another kind of good story for you. Onslaught is coming to Destiny 2 Into the Light. This is a 3-player wave-based horde kind of thing coming. Bill, you were with me on Discord as we watched this together, this live stream a few days ago, right?
Yes, I was.
It's the most interested in Destiny 2 you've seen me in how long? 5 years?
Yeah, probably. You did play Destiny for 2 hours one night, but I wouldn't call that
3 years ago.
Yeah.
That was 3 years ago because they had the Strand. The Strand got me in. And then, the game showed how it doesn't respect my time, and then I bounced off again.
Yeah.
But this time, I love Horde mode. You want to talk about a game that I have 1,000 hours in? I have 1,000 hours in Gears of War 3. Why? Because I love Horde mode. So this is Horde mode for Destiny 2, Joe. And it looks kind of cool. I think there's some problems, Bill. I mentioned it when we were just chatting about it. There are different locations on the map where you can build turrets, but you can't choose where the turrets are built. And in one of the demos they showed, the turret was just shooting into a wall. Like there was an enemy behind the wall, and the turret was just blowing the crap out of that wall. So I kind of wish you could be more strategic about that, or there was like optionality for where you decide to post up as a team. But it's nice. Like it's a completely new mode, right, Bill?
Yeah, it is a completely new mode. I have reservations about it, but I'm always down for something different. It's Horde mode has been something the community has been asking for a very, very long time. So it is interesting that it gets delivered kind of when Destiny's popularity has dipped and public opinion around Bungie and Destiny 2 has dipped, and then all of a sudden Horde mode arrives. So I don't know if that is just a coincidence or if that was well planned, but it does look fun for sure. My reservations around it are, we all know that this stuff doesn't just emerge in like a day or a week, right? Like these things take time to build. So obviously, at least the blueprints or the concept or the idea for this mode must have been kicking around for quite some time. But it's kind of a stopgap, I guess. It's attempting to like bridge a gap between now and when the final shape comes out, and probably attempting to like bring players back into the game and ramp them up. So I'm a little concerned about how quickly did they have to turn this around, and is it going to showcase in any kind of like bugs or polish? Maybe you could use the turret as an example of that. I don't know. But
that's more of like a design choice, and I understand like when you give people the optionality to move an item like that, you could create other problems. So maybe that's why they did it that way. I guess I wasn't alone in that criticism. We were talking about it in our community Discord with our guardians, and I wasn't alone in feeling that way. Because sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if I could put my fake dev hat on, because I'm not a dev, the Destiny player base is exceptionally creative and intelligent. And I mean that. They are an extremely intelligent community. Like if you took them and directed their attention at anything else, it would be incredible. And I think the reason that they're using static options to deploy these is because if they were freeform, there'd be no difficulty. Like we would figure out how to place turrets and trip mines in such a way that it just was like we could sit there and emote the entire time.
So there is no like difficulty slider when you go into this, right? Like it's the same level of difficulty for everyone, and it just gets harder as you go up the waves, right?
Well, there's three different ways to get into it. They have what they call the ritual playlist. So that's I believe that only lasts for 10 levels, and then they have their standard mode, and then they have their legend mode. The legendary mode is going to offer like modifiers, right? Okay. That'll change weekly. I don't know if they'll change daily, but they'll include things like champions that are harder to kill, and they'll include like a higher difficulty spike, where Destiny likes to put you typically about 5 levels below your enemy, and that usually provides like a decent challenge without being crazy. And then when you get into the extremely difficult stuff, they put you about 25 levels below your enemy, which is, and then they add modifiers onto that, which makes things very difficult. So the legend version of this will be very difficult, especially as you get into like wave. It can go up to 50 when you get into like wave 50. And I believe the difficulty will spike every 10 waves, if I'm not mistaken. So every 10 waves, you have to take out a boss, I think. And
there were like mini bosses each wave, basically.
Yeah, they have a lot of mini bosses in Destiny, but the community is so good at build crafting at this point that they get obliterated pretty quickly. So yeah, that's been a problem for a while. Like the power creep issue's been a bit of an issue. But I'm not sure if you get a reward chest after every 10 waves or if you just get one at the very end. I think maybe you get one every 10. But 50 waves is a lot, you know? And I hold a lot of questions when I was reading TWID. I'll call it TWID just because Bungie insists on changing it from TWAB. They said that this would be very rewarding, I believe. I don't know if they used the word very rewarding or the term, but they were trying to highlight how rewarding this activity would be.
I don't believe them.
No, I don't either, because they don't have a clue what rewarding is when it comes to like their top players.
These are the people who, like, the whole time they think that they've been rewarding us. So like I'm not buying that.
They really do. 9 ways. Oh, your well-earned rewards. Okay, so they didn't maybe they didn't call that out. But yeah, I the problem is we watched someone play this, right? For like one of the devs, and it lasted like 36 minutes and he wasn't done.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to make me play something for an hour to complete it, like I hope myself and Bungie are on the same page for what would be considered rewarding.
You're not.
No, we're not. Absolutely not. Because there's other things I can do in the game that are kind of like the highest tier of rewards that you can get, and it's 20 to 25 minutes. So
aren't like
interesting.
Like, I don't know. Aren't the raids like the Super Bowl of Destiny? Like the biggest thing that happens.
Probably the most prominent, the most well known. I don't even know that they're the most rewarding. Like, yes,
that was my point.
Yeah,
like because we've witnessed Sam stream for 24 hours for those at times. Sam Chandler, our guides editor at Shacknews, and like at the end, I'm like, I don't think it feels very satisfying. Like it seemed you're more relieved than you are satisfied or feeling accomplished when you're done with a raid, and I worry that this is going to be similar.
You could usually, like, if you need power, then you're usually going to get drops that are going to increase your power in a raid. So like you'll get equipment that you already have, but it'll drop at a higher power level and stuff like that. But you can usually get some pretty good weapons out of raids. It's just that after you've done them a certain amount of time, like obviously the return that you're getting does tend to tail off a little bit. So. But even them, like those raids, like let's say they take 45 minutes to an hour. Once you kind of like figure out how to do them, you can do a Grandmaster Nightfall in like 25 minutes usually, and it's probably more rewarding to the average player. So
lastly, why is this 3-player?
You know what? I don't know, man.
That just seems weird. It's a weird number.
The only thing I can tell you is that when Bungie released Lightfall a year ago, they mentioned how they didn't have NPCs in the city simply because of the amount of load that would put on the game, I guess, or whatever, like resource reasons.
Sure.
So I guess maybe they're still in the same boat. Like they just don't design their activities for like typically. There have been 6-player activities, like public activities in the past, not just raids, but like actual public activities that you could join that would have 6 players. So I don't know why it's only 3. I do not have an answer for that.
Maybe this game is just finally showing its age.
I mean, we talk about its downfall, and it is obviously in a rut, but we talk about its downfall negatively, and I was thinking about this, and it's like, yeah, but it's been around a decade. Like they had a good run. Like nothing lasts forever. It doesn't have to be like,
I'm not saying that in a way that is like, hey, this game's bad now. It's more just like, it's been around for a while, and I think it's running into constraints that they built themselves. And maybe a new Destiny is something that'll at least give them opportunity to do something different. Because
I don't know. I was thinking earlier, and I'll be quick, but I don't want to turn a longie into a super longie. But I think that the problems we're seeing with Destiny, like obviously we know that when they were tied to Activision, things weren't all sunshine and rainbows, right? They left. They went independent, and for a while, Bungie was the bachelor. They were no longer married to like the ball and chain Activision, and they could do what they want, get up whatever time they wanted, eat pizza all day and ice cream, and not wear pants or whatever they wanted to do.
Wait a second.
And then
I'm Destiny 2 post Activision?
Correct.
Wow.
And
what a revelation.
Then they decided like they were going to marry Sony, and now Sony's like, dude, take the moose antlers off the wall. Like, you're not having that here. Like, we're going to have a nice house. Like, we're going to have more than mustard in the fridge. Like, you have to get up and put pants on and go to your appointments. And I think you're going to see a struggling Bungie for a couple of years. And there's a lot of talk of a leadership mass exodus once the stock options come to. Yeah.
It does seem like there's a bit of buyer's remorse on the part of Sony. Like, this seems like it was a spite purchase more than it was anything else. Like, they're like, fine, we're going to get our own FPS studio.
I think they really thought that Bungie was going to be able to help them with live service stuff, and then I don't know that people are even as enthusiastic about live service right now as they were a year ago. So
sure, although Sony does have Helldivers 2 right now, and Bungie has been helping Helldivers 2 with their scaling issues, so they do have that going on.
They do, but it's not good within a year of, or about a year or whatever, right? Like, I don't know exactly how long it's been, but like the president or CEO of Sony or whoever it was walks into Bungie and he's like, they don't make deadlines and they spend too much money. It's like, yeah, party's over.
That's, this was the main reason we brought you on the show, Bill, was I wanted to hear your take on Destiny 2 and this new Onslaught mode. What do you think the odds are that I'll actually be able to play this with you?
63%.
Okay. That's higher. That's higher than I thought.
So specific.
Yeah, I like to, 63%. I'm 63% sure that you will be able to log in to Destiny, and if you are free to do what you want, then it will go up to 100%. And if you are not free to do what you want and they want to make you run around the EDZ doing a tutorial for 2 hours, then it'll drop to 0%.
Yeah, I'm not doing it again for the third time. Like, enough. And then last longy, Dragon's Dogma 2 is out, or will be out when people are listening to this. We reviewed it over at Shacknews. It got a 9 out of 10. Donovan really, really likes this game. Only had one negative. The game has performance issues on PC. Specifically when you're like in a town and there's like a lot of NPCs walking around, frame rate really chugs. We hope that that's something that maybe an early patch could fix or something, but it was something he noticed. His pros says the pawns revolutionize gameplay. I don't know if Joe, you're not on social media, so you're not seeing any of this, but like a lot of influencers are featured pawns in the game. So
like pre-baked, do you mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's I don't know. Do you know who Kit and Krista are from their Nintendo
Sure,
Minute?
Yeah.
They're in Dragon's Dogma 2 as pawns.
That's cool.
So stuff like that. Freeform vocation system, that is something they spent a lot of time on from Dragon's Dogma 1 to 2, was making the vocations, I think, more like just a larger and more fulfilling kind of thing. Thrilling combat, immersive time and quest mechanics, exploration feels rewarding, and he mentioned the character creator is just outstanding.
I wanted to when I was editing his review, there was a couple paragraphs where I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm 100% in. I don't need to hear or read anymore. Of course, I did have to read it to edit, but I didn't need to play it. So if I can read that for just a couple moments, I will. Pawns were the defining feature of Dragon's Dogma, and they're better than ever in the sequel. These companions have their own vocation, traits, and life experiences that inform just about everything they do. They'll provide insight on specific quests, information on enemies, and lead you to treasure around the world. To illustrate the way pawns breathe life into Dragon's Dogma 2, I want to tell you about Shinra. Shinra was one of the first pawns that I hired, not counting my primary pawn, after embarking on my journey. He was a thief who wore a bandana over his face and fought with twin daggers. He was at a higher level than me in my main pawn and carried us through plenty of fights during the early hours of the game. He also had the solutions to a couple of open-ended quests that I'd accepted, and overall felt like he'd shepherded through the early portion of the game. Shepherded me through the early portion of the game. The thing is, pawns you hire don't level up alongside you and your main pawn. You can travel with them all you like, but eventually you'll outgrow them. There came a point where my main pawn and I far out-leveled Shinra, and it was at that time, it was time to bid him farewell. A few hours later, I was exploring a cave with my new and improved party when we got ambushed by the Saurians. All three of my companions were incapacitated, and I was struggling to fend for myself. Suddenly, I could hear blades clashing as another character appeared in the cave, attacked the Saurians, and eventually helped me kill them. Imagine my surprise when I discovered this good Samaritan was none other than Shinra. He was wearing the same clothes. He was wearing some new clothes, but still rocked his signature bandana. He said it was good to see me again, and I rehired him and we finished the quest together. And that, I thought, okay, yeah, I'm in. 100% I'm in. Because that's just one of those moments that you can't create, right? That you normally wouldn't get from, emergent gameplay. Mm-hmm. And there was another story that I read, and I know you've heard this as well, Asif, about how one player was like, you can pick things up in this game and throw them.
You can yeet things off of cliffs.
So, and I actually started trying this after I read this, but somebody was picking up goblin enemies and throwing them off a cliff. And their pawn said, "I've never seen that before," and immediately started picking up goblins and chucking them off cliffs. And I'm like, okay, we have, like, it's early, but we have something special here. Like, there's something about this game that is going to be quite special. And I just have a feeling that it's going to absolutely just blow the roof off of the news cycle and the conversation in the next, like, 10 to 14 days.
Nice. Yeah.
Sick.
So that was our last longie. We did it in
Great
record time. So we've got, we don't have any questions from the community this week, do we? No.
No, I forgot to delete that.
Anyway, you can comment on the article page for Shack Together that we'll post on Friday, and maybe ask us a question there. You can comment on the YouTube video. I have seen people commenting on the YouTube video. I saw one person congratulate John on winning a game that he created last week. And then, you can also email us. We still don't have an email address for this show, so I'm not gonna. Should I tell the people how to spell my name again?
Go for it. Why not?
Yeah, it's asif.khan@shacknews.com. That's A is in Apple, S is in Sam, I is in India, F is in Frank, a period, then the letter K is in King, H is in Henry, A is in Apple, N is in Naysayer. So yeah, that's how you spell my name. And at shacknews.com. Just put Shack Together in the topic if you do this, because I'm not going to see your email otherwise. So that's the show for today. Subscribe on your podcast of choice and tune in every Friday for more Shack Together. Thank you, Bill. Let's make it less than 6 years between our next two podcast recordings. It was nice to have you here, Shack Together, with us. And yeah, you can follow us in all these different places, man. We're on Twitter, which is currently called X by a Billionaire Baby. We're Shacknews there. We're Shacknews on Facebook, where, boy, do we have a lot of videos that you can watch on Facebook. Right, Bill? Lots.
Too many videos. But
so many videos on Facebook. Yeah. Breaking news and trailers on our Facebook page. We're on Instagram at Shacknews Media. We're on Twitch, Shacknews there. We're live streaming, I believe we're live streaming tonight. I guess it would have been yesterday, depending on Thursday night. We're going to be streaming some stuff. DayZ, I think, is what's on tap for tonight. We have, I believe, a Rise of Ronin stream is going to be happening on Friday. So yeah, Twitch. That's where you go if you want to watch us play games live. YouTube, though, we got a lot of gameplay over there. YouTube/Shacknews, also YouTube/Shacknews interviews. It's pretty self-explanatory what's going on there. We got interviews on one channel, gameplay and other stuff on the other channel. Both channels will have plenty of content. If you're interested to see some Princess Peach gameplay, we got you covered. If you're interested to see some Dragon's Dogma gameplay that isn't spoilery, we got you covered there too. So yeah, those are the places you can go to support us. Oh yeah, TikTok, we're there. Shacknews, as long as the app still exists, so we're still over there. Yeah, I think those are all the places. Yeah, we're working on an update to Shack Pets, so keep using Shack Pets if you're already a user. If not, it's free to download on App Store or Google Play. And then I want to mention our game Bubbletron, which every day there's a reset. You'll see something about that happened on this day, which is always, it's pretty exciting to see, like, what did Bubbletron decide to talk about today? So yeah, today, which is when we recorded this, March 21st, Martin Luther King Jr. led civil rights activists in a nonviolent protest march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama in 1965. It's pretty great.
Bubbletron.com.
Bubbletron.com. Go there every day. Resets at midnight Eastern. Hit the share button. It's free. It's fun. It's silly. And I hope it inspires somebody to make a holographic projector, for the love of God. So that's the show. We did it. I still don't know how to end
Bill.
it. But thank you, okay. Bill. Thanks, Bill.
We'll script it out. We'll get a script going for you.
We did it.
I had a great time.
Awesome. No, we're going to have you back for sure. And we hope to have all of our listeners back next week. These episodes go live on Friday. Thank you, Joe, for an excellent job producing this episode. And shout out to my co-host, John, who's out there in the metaverse doing it for Shacknews right now. So
love that.
That's the show. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, Bill. Bye.
Forget you.